chicks, stacks. You and I are going to make a lot of money.
It's Ferrall, coast to coast.
Hour 2 of a pain-free Friday, coast to coast on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. Get the SportsGrid app. It's free on iOS or Android. You're going to love it. Follow your favorite hosts like Carver High, and you get everything: stories, highlights, news, odds, in-game odds. How about this? You can watch the network on there. You can listen to the network on there. This is the coolest app ever, the SportsGrid app. Check it out today. Never miss a beat with the app. You can follow the network at all times, everywhere, in the car, at home, mowing the yard, whatever you got to do. Matt Murschel has the app, and, of course, he's our college football insider from the Orlando Sentinel, and he just spent some time in lovely Las Vegas where it was 120 degrees every single time he went outside, and he thought, this reminds me of Orlando, except the humidity's way worse in Vietnam and Thailand and Orlando than it is in the microwave oven of Las Vegas. I want to start, first of all, good to see you, Matt, as always. Looking forward to a great college football season with you. I want to start with the expectations of, Utah, Arizona, Colorado, and Arizona State coming into the conference, and the fact that Utah immediately gets tabbed the favorite of this conference. Now, I don't deny that they're good. I don't deny that they're allegedly loaded, and their quarterback, who's frankly been injured in my book too much. So, handing them that conference, that brutal conference, that brutal schedule where you have to play everybody, it is absolutely impossible to win every game in that football conference. I don't care what anybody says. And that's with Texas and Oklahoma leaving. How in the hell are they going to live up to being tabbed the favorite?
Yeah, that's going to be interesting to me. I mean, you look at this conference, they talked about this a lot over the last 2 days when we were in Las Vegas, was this idea of this is a conference with a lot of parity. You don't have necessarily one or two teams that you at the top that you think that really could kind of maybe, push themselves to being in the discussion for a national championship. You don't have that this year. You have a lot of teams. You got 6, 7, 8 teams. They feel like everyone can contend for the title, but no one's nearly, I would say, a runaway favorite. So as much as Utah was picked by the media to be the favorite, I still think there's some question marks there. I still think that Kansas State, which were also picked to finish high, Arizona, all the teams that were picked to finish in the top half, I still think have some question marks. And I don't think it's necessarily given they're going to run away and win this conference. So I think there's an opportunity to get a dark horse to come in there, maybe someone else to come in and sweep it and get the title. But I do believe this is going to be a fun conference to watch because there aren't going to be those runaways, the Alabamas, the Georgias, Clemson, whoever. You're going to have a couple teams that maybe get an opportunity to maybe surprise some people.
Oh, without a doubt, Matt, that this is a dynamic conference of talent and violence. I mean, in both football and basketball, any way you slice it, they're great, and all these teams can play. Yesterday, Carver High rode with Arizona. He's like, in not so many words, their coach bolted, and all the players said, screw him. We're not following him. We're staying in Tucson. And we're going to show the world that we mean business. What do you think of that Arizona team, sans their coach?
Yeah, I think this is a good team. This was a good team last year, and they felt like they needed to kind of get a couple pieces to get a little bit better. It says a lot, really, in this day and age with the transfer portal and NIL and everything the way it is in college athletics, for a group of players to want to stick around at a school even when their head coach has gone on somewhere else. So, I mean, I think it's going to be an interesting year for Arizona. I think they've got an opportunity to make a good push as well. Again, their schedule is going to be something they're going to have to look at. They travel to, different spots that they're not used to playing. I talked to a couple of people who said, hey, we haven't been to Orlando before, where it's going to be interesting to see that happening. So I think the biggest adjustments for these 4 new teams are just been going to new places, going to places they haven't been familiar with, fan bases they aren't familiar with. So that's going to be a challenge. But I like Arizona. I think Arizona is one of those 4 or 5 that I mentioned that I think can be right in the mix for the title.
So Rich Sermonello does a lot of college football with us on SportsGrid, and He jumped on Oklahoma State at around plus 850, and he thinks that they're going to make a huge splash in this college football season. What do you think of that team and their coach? He certainly had an interesting week.
Yeah, I think, when you look at Oklahoma State, this is a team that a lot of people were talking about with this idea of, if you're looking for someone to step up and replace the Texas and Oklahoma State's that program. They've had some consistency over the years. Mike Gundy's probably the most, senior coach, obviously, in this conference now. He's the guy outside of Deion Sanders that gets a lot of attention. He got a lot of attention this week, obviously, for some of the things he said, but they return a lot of talent. Alan Bowman's a guy who's been around for a long time at quarterback. Ollie Gordon was the nation's leading rusher last year. He's a guy that could have another outstanding year. This is a program that people aren't really talking about necessarily winning it all, but I could see that happening. And I think, Gundy, again, he's an elder spokesman, so to speak, when it comes to college athletics. He talked a lot about some of the changes that are going on. But then again, when you think he's kind of that upper level, he says something. He talks about, Ollie Gordon's arrest for DUI and mentions how the fact that, who hasn't gone out and gotten, a few drinks with them and driven as well. So, probably not the smartest thing to say, after trying to do the whole mea culpa type thing, at the Big 12 media days. But it did draw a lot of attention. I give him respect. Listen, he brought Ollie Gordon to this event. Most coaches wouldn't have done that. Most coaches would have hidden him, put them on the bench and said, you're not going to take you there. It's an award. We're not going to take you there to kind of be celebrated and have to deal with this. He brought him there and said, listen, he's a man. He's getting paid. He needs to step up and talk about what happened and give his kind of side of things. And that's what ended up happening.
What do you think of Campbell and his team in Ames?
Yeah, I think that's going to be an interesting one. Matt Campbell, Iowa State had done well for a while. Matt Campbell was a really hot coaching candidate for a lot of big jobs that opened up over the last few years, but then they've struggled at times, and I think this team coming back does have a lot of pieces. I think that's going to be a big boost for them as well. It's always hard to play in Ames. It's always hard to win at Iowa State. So I think they're going to have an opportunity. Again, they're going to need to find someone to step up and really lead at the quarterback position, somebody who they feel like can really kind of push the ball down the field a little bit more. And they got to play better defense, but they feel like they've got the pieces through the portal and through recruiting that they can be able to get the job done this year.
Deion always gets the most attention. How was his session?
It was crazy. He, as he walked into the place at Allegiant Stadium, he had a huge entourage. He had an entourage, guys following him around, social media people, camera crews, boom mics, everything was there, following him around at every spot. And as people tried to get, access to him, it was very difficult, because everyone wants a piece of attention. I kind of likened it to when Johnny Manziel went to the SEC media days. There was such a huge cluster of media members around him. It was impossible to even get to him and talk to him a little bit. That's the way kind of Deion was. And I think, a lot of coaches said, listen, Deion is good for this league. Deion puts a face on the league. He's going to draw a lot of eyes to it. That's going to be a good thing for them. Now, if he can win some games, that'll help them out as well. So it's going to be interesting to see how they're able to do that this year.
How do you think BYU's going to do in this conference?
I think they'll be better. I think that, again, a lot of the new teams, had to make some adjustments. I think what they're going to have to do is get deeper, stronger, faster, just like everyone else. It's not like they played a patty cake schedule over the years. They've played some big opponents. I think it's going to take a little bit of time, but I think, again, maybe year 3, year 4, I think BYU can make a big push.
The stock on these two coaches in Kansas at Kansas and K-State are through the roof. Respectfully, I got 20 seconds.
Yeah, both those guys have done a great job. Lance Leipold did a wonderful job at Kansas, a program that's really been down for a while. And Chris Kleiman has obviously done a great job at Kansas State. Both these two programs should be in contention in the Big 12 this year.
Yeah, and I gotta be honest. I think it's going to be fun to see it all play out. And I think it's going to be awesome football. And I also have said that I think Texas can go to the SEC and actually pull it off and win it in their first year because they're so loaded. We'll see. We'll talk football all year, Matt. Always good to see you, Matt Snow.
that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Will they both make it? Yes. But it has more to do with the fact of the three teams that are not really good at all in Dallas, Washington, and the Sparks, and an Atlanta Dream Team without Ryan Howard that's spiraling out of control. If they can get those two teams, Indiana and Chicago, that's going to be a major boom for ratings.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
DeMar DeRozan now joins that team in Sacramento with the Kings. De'Aaron Fox, Domantas Sabonis, Devin Carter, who they drafted early, Keegan Murray as well. A Kings team, DRS, that has been a playoff contender.
Is it going to equate to a championship? Probably not, but that's not the goal. Make your team better every offseason. The Kings definitely got better with that move here, Ben.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
So I'm watching the Summer League in Vegas already, Carver High, and Orlando is putting a beating on Cleveland right now, 26-9 out of the gates, firing on all cylinders, hitting threes, flush dunks. The Magic youngsters have it all rolling at the Cox Pavilion in Sin City.
Yeah, should be decent crowds out there too. Obviously, everybody's going to be stopping by to see Bronny in one of the night games over there at the Thomas and Mack. So got a lot of opportunities.
No.
Yes.
They actually are all there right now at this game with Cleveland and Orlando to see Bronny and to talk about Bronny. The game's going on and no one's doing anything except talking about Bronny. And what they want is they want more low post blocking defensive videos on ESPN of him doing nothing in Summer League games. That's what people crave. They need more Bronny doing nothing. In fact, I'm watching right now, Bronny just missed another jumper, and he's not even playing in the game.
He's not even in the game, and he's doing that. Let me get you, before we get to tonight's games, here's the rest of the stuff I have for you in baseball. Skenes, of course, opened. Now, at BetMGM, he opened at 125 to 1 to win the Cy Young. I know there are some shops he was 200 to 1 at some point. He is now, actually that says 10. I'll even go a little bit further to you, Scotty, when I put up the next board. He has actually gotten to 9 to 1 now to win the Cy Young. So Skenes has gone from anywhere from 125 to 200 all the way down to 9 to 1 and is the third choice at BetMGM. Sales 125, Wheeler's 150, and Skenes at 9. Are the top three for the National League right now on the odds board.
Well, we'll see how Wheeler's back holds up in August and September into the playoffs. If he does nothing in August and September, he won't win the Cy Young. I'll say that Skenes will pass him in short order. What do you like? The weight of a guy that's 12-3 with a low 2 ERA, or do you like a guy that's undefeated 6-0 with a low 2 ERA that strikes out 10 guys every time he pitches? I am telling you, this is going to be a 2-horse race. This is Sale against Skenes the rest of the way. Skenes' power move is getting the nod to start the All-Star game. that will help him with Cy Young vote getters, right? Like they're going to be out there realizing, seeing this is a guy that is taking over Major League Baseball as we speak. People have already been down the Chris Sale road. They've already seen this guy throwing televisions and, everything else, have all of his injuries. I think Sale's been unbelievable. I love betting on him. I hit him in Arizona the other night. I'll bet on him on Sunday. But I still feel, Mike, that Paul Skenes can not only, he'll win the Rookie of the Year. That's already over. But he can win, and he's already got the All-Star start. He can win the Cy Young if he keeps doing this. And I don't see why he can't keep doing it. You know why? Because he is a dominant stud pitcher, and they only come around once every, I'd say dozen years. A real dominant pitcher.
I will tell you this. There is only one thing that can stop him, in my opinion, from winning the Cy Young.
Lineup?
No. The lineup's got nothing to do with it. It's the organization, the Pirates. They are the only ones who will keep him from winning the Cy Young this year. I'll tell you right now, if he makes every start between now and the end of the season, he will win the Cy Young in the National League. If he is allowed to continue to pitch the rest of the year, and he makes all his starts all the way through September, he will win the award. I'll tell you that right now.
Think they're going to pull him.
My fear is we get to Labor Day, the Pirates fall to 7 or 8 back of the wild card, and the organization goes, it's been a great first year. We don't want to risk anything. We're going to shut him down for the rest of the year. That will cost him. If he pitches the whole year, he'll win.
You're right. There's no doubt you're right. The problem I have with that type of thinking is they're 2.5 out of the last wild card right now. They were 4.5 out like 2 days ago. So they are in it. They are in it. And if you're going to go make moves and you're going to get a guy like Ward or whoever and you're going for it, then you got to pitch this guy every 5 days. You didn't draft him to stop playing baseball at Labor Day. He is an absolute monster. I see your thinking. I think you're probably right. That's what they're going to do. And I think that they'll rue the day they did it if they're still in it. If they're in it on Labor Day, a game or two out of the wild card, they got to keep going with him.
Well, and I'll say this too. I could see them doing it even if they were still in the wild card race. You're a fan of that organization. You have been a Pirate fan. You have been a Pirate fan your entire life. You have rooted for that organization. Would it stun you if even if they were where they are right now, 2 or 3 back in the wild card, they got to September 1st and they organizationally got together and said, he's thrown more pitches than he's ever thrown in his whole life. We're not going to pitch him anymore this year. We're shutting him down. We'll see you in spring training in Bradenton. Would it stun you? No.
Listen,
it wouldn't.
They were smart enough to draft him. Okay, so I am not going to sit here and everyone bashes Nutting and Cherington. That's all they ever do. They get bashed in Pittsburgh like no end. It's the same core of people that hate Mike Tomlin. Every time they lose a game, they want him fired. When they don't win in the playoffs, they want him fired. He's 1-1 in Super Bowls, right? He's never had a losing season. The Rooneys don't fire coaches that win. That's all there is to it. And, they haven't had playoff luck. It's easier said than done winning in the NFL playoffs. Carver High knows all about it with the Buffalo Bills, believe me you. My point is the Pirates get bashed, their ownership gets bashed, their GM gets bashed. They don't know what they're doing. Well, at least they drafted him. And I'll give them this. I don't think they're the smartest bunch of people I've ever been around in my life that I've ever seen or followed or watched or had to root for. But they got him. Now, for me, the key is don't screw it up. Don't F it up. So whatever it takes to keep this guy on the mound and his arm on his body, that's what I'm in favor of, including religious reasons. If we got to go light a candle every week, I'll do that too.
that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Will they both make it? Yes. But it has more to do with the fact of the three teams that are not really good at all in Dallas, Washington, and the Sparks, and an Atlanta Dream team without Ryan Howard that's spiraling out of control. If they can get those two teams, Indiana and Chicago, that's going to be a major boom for ratings.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
DeMar DeRozan now joins that team in Sacramento with the Kings. De'Aaron Fox, Domantas Sabonis, Devin Carter, who they drafted early, Keegan Murray as well. A Kings team, DRS, that has been a playoff contender.
Is it going to equate to a championship? Probably not. But that's not the goal. Make your team better every offseason. The Kings definitely got better with that move here, Ben.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Carver, hi. Lastly, I just want to say, and I just said this to you in a break, I want to say it to the fans and viewers and listeners. This guy's so good. He's like having Roberto Clemente or Barry Bonds. When they had those guys, you have to understand they were out of this world, like in terms of talent. Like watching Roberto Clemente play every day was like watching Joe DiMaggio play. Watching Barry Bonds was like watching Willie Mays. That's just all there is to it. This guy is that good. Like literally, I don't care. I mean, I love the Pirates and I care every day what they do. But I really don't care the 4 other days that he's not pitching. Like the day he pitches is Skenes Day. It is time to focus on the Pirate game no matter what. Every time he pitches, I watch. And when they play their other games, I care, but I don't care if I watch. You know what I mean? Like I'll watch it, I'll do other things, this and that. When that guy's pitching, I watch the entire game and watch him work his craft. He is like having, it's like having Whitey Ford. I mean, honestly, people can laugh all they want. This guy has come into Major League Baseball and utterly humiliated Major League hitters at every level. Every single game, every single team, every single batter, doesn't matter who it is, he's made them all look bad. And that means he's great. He's one of a kind.
He's been outstanding, that's for sure. All right, other All-Star notes. Simeon will start for Jose Altuve at second base at the All-Star game. That's because Altuve's not going to play. Will Castro from the Twins will take Altuve's place on the roster. Santander will replace Kyle Tucker, who's been on the IL for weeks. On the AL roster, Max Scherzer says he will not waive his trade clause at the deadline. He says, no, I'm staying in Texas. You're not moving me. And more teams are getting in on the Jazz Chisholm sweepstakes, Scotty. We said the Phillies yesterday. The Yankees and the Mariners are also in the mix for Jazz, who hit a home run last night for the Marlins, by the way. Deep shot into the right field seats. So he's starting to get very hot himself. I wanted to give you this because I know this really hasn't been on our radar. Did you know that this weekend is also the Major League Baseball draft, where, of course, last year, the guy we've been talking about, Paul Skenes, went number 1. Well, this year, Scotty, the Guardians were the winners of the draft lottery back in December. So the MLB does the draft lottery now, as you know. Guardians moved up 9 spots to get the top pick, where Travis Bazzana is the favorite, minus 140 to go first. He is a second baseman. J.J. Weatherholt plus 165, and on and on and on. I'll tell you this, Scotty. Last year we knew weeks before the draft that Skenes was going to be the top pick, right? I mean, Skenes was, you knew. I just feel like this year none of these guys have as much gas as some guys we've heard about in the past for the top pick.
How about running out of gas on the side of the road? I've never heard of any of them, and that makes me a loser, and I'm okay with that. You knew the buildup for Skenes, what was going to happen. There is no such thing going on this year with the draft this weekend. In fact, literally that's the first I've heard of it, that you told me the draft was this weekend. I mean, honestly, because all I care about is England and Spain, Argentina and Colombia. I had no clue that was happening. The only reason the NHL draft at the end of June was exciting at all was that it was at the Sphere. Other than that, no one would have cared about that either.
Nobody would have cared about that either. You're absolutely right about that. So that takes place. They have now tied the draft into All-Star Weekend, which is why that is going on this week. So good luck and God bless to all the kids who will be involved. All right.
Where is it? Are they having it in Arlington? Are they having it down in Texas?
Yes, that's where they're having it. I guess some of the kids will show up and get the jersey. I guess the MLB is starting to do that. Like everyone wants to be like the NFL now with their draft and the NHL. Now we have the NBA doing 2 nights. Major League Baseball split it up into a bunch of nights. But they do a lot of rounds. Baseball has a lot of rounds.
The NBA tonight was terrible. It was terrible. The second day was at 4:00, and that's all you need to know. That they're
going to change that.
They tried to be the NFL, and they swung and missed. Okay, starting at 4:00 on the second day is like a nightmare. What a stupid move that was.
They did that because of the presidential debate. Silver says next year it will be in prime time. The second round at 8 o'clock at night.
And how did that debate go? That was the abortion of the century, that debate. It was the worst thing that ever happened to America.
England survived yesterday in the Euro round of 16. They score into stoppage time, and then in extra time, they score the game winner.
You want to wait to the very final minutes? And I say this again, Ben. I don't know. I think you were here last year for my rant on this. Why don't we just play soccer the way you play it when you're down a goal with like 5 minutes to go?
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.
I think the one comparison that I'd like to make that reminds me of Tiger is Scotty's ability to make shots on a Sunday look like shots on a Thursday. And Tiger was so good at doing that too. In the high pressure leverage moments, he didn't lose a step. You know, he was still able to hit it pin high. He's still knocking down flag sticks. He doesn't hit it.
Only on SportsGrid.
You went to Alberta and, came back with a lot of different stories. I know that sports betting as a possibility, just like Ontario in 2022, we could see that.
The other big topic was Alberta, because sure enough, we've heard lots, and we talked about it on here, that, a law was passed to allow the market to open up, and we were kind of waiting to see what was going to happen.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
Do you believe Diggs will come up big with Stroud or be the disappointment that he was with Allen in the last, year?
It's not all on Diggs as it was with the Bills. So he only needs to be a secondary piece. Remember now, he's in his 30s, Ferrall. He's on the back 9 of his career. They don't need him to be super. They just need him to do a good job.
Ferrall coast to coast. Only on SportsGrid. The brighter the lights, the bigger the stakes. Hunt or be hunted. Know your prey. This is a whole new jungle. This is The Lion's Share. Brought to you by BetMGM.
Of course, how about a 33% odds boost token either on the 12th or 13th? You do the math. That's like, this weekend, right? Like you're styling. You get the 33% odds boost token to use on a straight bet when they opt into the promotion, any account holder. So you go to the BetMGM app on iOS or Android, you're styling, or go to betmgm.com. You get your token. You get full details there. A 33% odds boost token, and that's today and tomorrow on BetMGM. So Friday and Saturday, you can use that 33% odds boost token. They're giving away these boost tokens, honestly, like toilet paper. It's everywhere. And Carver High has been cashing in left and right with these boost tokens at every level. It doesn't even matter. He's like cashing in those rewards on the swing for the fences. He's cashing in tennis. He's cashing in golf. I mean, what's next? Basketball? I mean, you're going to cash in on that too, aren't you?
It's very possible. I'm hoping to, that's for sure. It would be nice. But yes, we've been doing well with all the great stuff at BetMGM, including that swing for the fences where we got a double today. And we got ourselves a little parlay boost token that will probably put a couple of these taters that we're about to do together tonight in one of those. Why don't we get it cooking, Scotty, on the Lion's Share, brought to you by BetMGM. We'll start with some of the more chalkier plays tonight. I'm going to Christian Walker first, late night, out in Arizona with the Blue Jays coming to town. Now, Walker actually hasn't homered, Scotty, since he destroyed the Dodgers at Chavez Ravine about a week and a half ago.
He's
but
due.
We've got a guy, he's due, and we've got a guy coming in tonight in Yariel Rodriguez with the Jays. Charts and graphs gives up a lot of hard hit balls, Scotty. What does Christian Walker do? He hits the ball hard. Plus 310 for Walker out in the desert. Let's get back on the board, big fella.
Yes, I'm with you. And Suarez, who's been on fire, Marte. I'm all in on all three of them, and certainly Walker.
Next, we will go to San Diego. Atlanta, of course, was just in Arizona with Christian Walker. Now they will go to Petco with the soft serve ice cream to see the Padres. And the good thing for the Braves is they're going to see Randy Vasquez tonight, and he loves giving up long balls. Your boy's given up 11 in 58 innings so far this year. We've got Matt Olson coming in with a good price at plus 375. He just missed one last night, Scotty, in Arizona out to left center field. I think he yanks one down the right field line at Petco tonight off of Vasquez, plus 375 for Olson.
Soft serve ice cream for everybody. And I'm also willing to throw Riley Murphy and Kelnick into the mix. The Braves are starting to get hot, and they're winning, and they're playing good, and you're seeing the ball fly out. So I'd be willing to put shekels on any of them, and Olson.
Why not? Because like I said, Vasquez, he loves to give them up. Next, let's go to the Trop for the Rays and the Guardians tonight. And look at what we got here. Carlos Carrasco and Taj Bradley. That sounds like home runs to me. And Brandon Lau, Scotty, in his career against Carrasco, 4 for 8 with 2 home runs off of him.
Whoa.
He's in the lineup tonight in the 2-hole, plus 425. Let's ring the bell, Brandon.
He almost hit one last night, so tonight he will.
Let's hope so. That would be very nice. I'm owed one down there at the Trop, by the way, because of that dopey catwalk. I hope that I get one tonight with Lau. That would be nice.
Catwalk.
The Buccos are in Chicago against the White Sox tonight. Now, you know, Scotty, I'm not going to go after Garrett, don't call me Davy Crockett, with one of the Pirate bats, but I will go after Marco Gonzalez, who's making his return to the Pirates. He has not pitched since April, coming off of the injury list. What do we do here? Well, we got the soft-tossing lefty. Let's go with the big, powerful, right-handed hitter, and that would be Luis Robert Jr. We will line up Robert tonight, plus 425 against Gonzalez.
That's fine with me if he hits a home run, as the Pirates are crossing the plate multiple times to beat the White Sox because they stink. I won't deny Crockett's tough, though.
Crockett is tough for the White Sox. There's no doubt about that. Next, the Cubbies and the Cardinals in St. Louis this weekend. Now, we have a lot of guys, Scotty, believe it or not. Actually, you shouldn't believe it or not because this guy stinks, who hit the ball well off of Kyle Hendricks, who's going tonight for the Cubbies. Hendricks has given up 13 homers in 63 innings already this year. Now, Arenado, he's got 3 homers in his career off of Hendricks. Got a couple other guys with good numbers, but Alec Burleson, the big lefty, is where I am going to go. He's got 3 homers in the month of July. He's got 2 in the last week. 9 of those, and Hendricks gives them up to lefties. 9 of those 13 he's allowed has been to left-handed hitters. Plus 575 for the big guy Burleson tonight.
I hope you're right at that price. I'll say this, though. The Stones I got going today on this Cubs team. Jimi Hendrix is having an awful season. I won't deny it at 1-7. And he's been terrible. But in his career, he has always pitched well against the St. Louis Cardinals. He's done incredible things. Low ERA, winning record, faced them a ton of times, has beaten them a ton of times. And Sonny Gray, who's going on the other side, in his last 2 starts has been tattooed. In 9 1/3, he's given up like 11 runs. I mean, the guy's been getting jacked all over the place. And the Cubs are coming off of that sweep at Camden. So I'm on Happ again. I'm on the Cubs. I'm on Hendricks. I think they're going to win again at Busch and beat Sonny Gray. Something is wrong with Sonny Gray in his last 2 starts. I don't deny Sonny Gray's been the Cardinals' best pitcher, but he's hit a wall all of a sudden, too.
Happ is hitting .462 with a homer in his career off of Sonny Gray. I know we went to Happ last night, and he did not get it done for us, but he does have pretty good numbers against him. I'm fine with the Cubbies winning, Scotty. They could win 6-1, and Burleson can hit the homer for St. Louis. That's fine by me. Next, we go to Citi Field. Here's your big ball of the night with the Rockies in town against the Mets. We are going to go to Brenton Doyle. Who? Let me tell you about Brenton Doyle, Scott. You're not going to be saying who for much longer. This dude is on fire. 6 homers so far in the month of July. 3 in the last week. We've got a soft toss and lefty on the mound and Sean Manaea for the Mets. Your boy Doyle has been hot, and you're giving me 7 bills plus 700 tonight? Let's go, Scotty, for the big ball tonight.
And I'm going to go with Nimmo and Lindor against Flash Gordon on top of that. I love your bet. That's gigantic money. And Nimmo's been hitting them out all week, too.
Nimmo has been hitting them out all week as well, so I don't have any problems there. And there's one game I didn't throw in there, but I'll tell you. I want the lineup to come out. If Alvarez is in there tonight against Andrew Heaney in that Ranger-Astro game, I think both those guys, Hunter Brown and Heaney, could give up a ton of taters. So keep an eye on the Rangers and the Astros tonight. I think we can get some homers out there as well. All right, bonus for you here on the Lion's Share.
Whoa.
Soccer goals for Sunday. That's right, before we go. Danny Olmo for Spain. What has he got a chance to do on Sunday? Not only lift the Euro for the Spain, but win the Golden Boot as well as the top goal scorer for it. Plus 425 for Olmo to score against England on Sunday. Let's go.
I think that is a fantastic bet. He scores every game, and Spain never loses.
Spain never loses. And in the night game, the Copa final, look, it's a big game. Everything's on the line. I thought about going back to some of these guys on Argentina that have hit for me, Scotty, but only one guy could score in the final. Leo Messi. And it's plus 185. I've seen a lot of minus 110s for him, plus 105. Plus 185 for Messi on Sunday night. Let's go.
I mean, this guy in big games, in the World Cup, in the Euro, in everything he does, what he's done in Miami is insanity. So putting it past him to score a goal in this game Sunday night when Spittin' Speeds and I are on SportsGrid doing that Copa final, I'm not going to be surprised at all. And when you hit that goal and catch that 185, I'll give you a shout-out, Carver High.
I know you will. 6-pack on the Lion's Share. Walker, Olsen, Lau, Robert, Burleson, Doyle. Let's get the taters tonight. Let's go.
With sea salt.
The Lion's Share, presented by BetMGM.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Watch out for USA and Canada in 4 years. Like cricket's going to be a sport that's growing.
I made my first cricket bet last week or over the weekend. I was getting a team that was leading like 150 to 5 plus odds. I'm like, I'm up 150 points and I'm getting plus odds. Where do I sign? I love this cricket stuff. What are you kidding me?
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. I'll tell you what, you watch all these shows all day. It doesn't matter early line. It doesn't matter GTD, Ferrall Coast to Coast. I mean, it goes on all night. Sports Rage, Carver and Lisi just constantly giving you killer snags, prop bet winners out the yin in every sport across the board. Carver High on Taters and I just going off, ringing the bell, and his golf betting and his friends, the Stewies. I mean, honestly, it's embarrassing how much money we actually make, all you people around here. We are good for the community. We're good for citizenry. We're good for America. We're good for North America, SportsGrid. Feel it. All right, Carver High, time to get down and dirty with tonight's slate of baseball snags. As I mentioned, 9-3 last night.
Indeed, 9-3 last night. We'll start in Detroit, where the Dodgers, after getting swept in Philadelphia, will head up to face the Tigers. The bad news for them is, Scotty, they're going to face Tariq Skubal tonight in his final start of the first half. James Paxton goes for the Dodgers. How about this? The Tigers minus $1.50, Dodgers plus 125, and a flat 8. Could you believe you thought the Dodgers would be a dog against Detroit this year? It helps that Skubal's on the mound.
Well, they've been getting their ass beat in Philadelphia, and now they got to go face this monster who, in his last outing, I think he struck out 13. He is amazing. And Lolich is the only other guy that's ever done it, right? This guy is on his way to a Cy Young. And tonight, Mike, you've got to believe this is a huge test for him against one of the top teams in baseball in an interleague game. It doesn't matter that they got swept. They are the Dodgers coming out of Philly looking terrible. This guy's, so good at pitching. I think he's the play tonight. And I think that, I'm willing to even go high risk. I don't like the juice of it. I don't like going. I like value. I like making money. I like making units, stacking units. I'm not interested in laying that kind of juice. So I'm willing to take the risk, to be honest with you, on the run line if I'm going to get $1.40 if it hits. I think I need the Tigers to back this guy tonight and get to the Maple and score some runs and win by 2 and give me that fat piece instead of betting minus $1.45.
I'll tell you what else I think is on the line for him tonight, Scotty. Now, I think he should be the starter for the American League on Tuesday anyway against Skenes in that All-Star game. But you pitch well against the Dodgers tonight in your last outing before the All-Star game. I think that will seal it. Signed, sealed, and delivered that he will start for the American League on Tuesday in that game. So I think that's a pretty big spot for him tonight as well. Heavy lumber in Philadelphia tonight as the A's are in town for the Phillies. Ranger Danger Suarez against Double H. Hogan Harris going for Oakland tonight. Minus 250 for the Phillies, plus 2 bills for the A's and a flat 9.
Poor Hogan's heroes, the beating he's in for, the way they're swinging the bats, the way they're winning, the way they play at the bank. I like the over more than anything else at even money. I don't like the run line. I got to lay $1.30 to win by 2 runs. I think they will. I don't think it's the worst risk bet I've ever seen, but I'm not going anywhere near that 260. No, thank you.
The Guardians are in Tampa at the Trop this weekend against the Rays. Carlos Carrasco and Taj Bradley tonight. Minus 130 for the Rays, plus $1.10 for the Guardians. How about that? Guardians dogs here tonight. 7.5 the total.
I'll take that. Guardians team at plus 115. The Rays aren't playing the Yankees tonight. They're playing a good team.
They are playing a good team, that's for sure. The Yankees are in Baltimore against the Orioles. Garrett Cole gets the ball. Cade Povich goes for the O's. Minus 125 for the Yanks, plus 105 for Baltimore, and a flat 9.
I mean, look at these guys' ERAs. Cole 6.7. Maury Povich 6.5. He doesn't win either. I like the over here. And I guess if I were to bet it, you know, they are slumping, the Orioles, all of a sudden. They found their own problems in that series against the Cubs. I think Garrett Cole can win this game.
Both of these guys, Scotty, have given up a lot of long balls and not a lot of innings. Povich 6-27 this year. Cole 5-17 innings. I usually don't like putting guys really, low on the bar on the Lion share. Judge is like plus 200 tonight against this Povich, and he hasn't hit one in like a week. I could see Judge tonight out at Camden Yards getting himself involved with a tater as well. The Rockies are at Citi Field against the Mets. Tanner Gordon, Flash Gordon, against Sean Manaea, the pitching matchup here. Mets minus 275, plus 220 for the Rockies and an 8.5.
I mean, the only way to bet it is the run line, and you got to lay $1.40, so it kind of is a drag. The over is even money. I like the over and the Mets. I think, the Mets are winning, and the Mets are going to beat this team. Colorado's awful, and Manaea's been tough. So I think it's relatively safe to say that you can hit that run line bet at minus 130. It's not that juicy a burger.
It is not. The Royals are in Fenway Park against the Red Sox. Cole Reagans and Cooper Criswell is the pitching matchup tonight. Royals minus 110. Actually, a pick 'em here, Scotty. Minus 110 both ways and a flat 9.
I'll tell you what. It's like the Red Sox to me are winning every night. So I'm on the Red Sox. I don't. Ronald Reagan's is pitching. I don't care. You know what? He's got a ton of innings, a ton of work. But that team is winning right now, Boston. It's like every night they win, right? And they're at home. So I'm not betting against them at Fenway.
We'll slide one more in here before the break. Marlins and the Reds in Cincinnati. Chirinos and Spires, minus 175 for the Reds and a flat 9.
I mean, I am all over. I bet this today at plus 115 on the run line. I'm already on the Reds. I already put it in.
We will do the rest of tonight's games at the top of the hour after we hear from Rich after the break. We've got the Cubs and the Cardinals still. Seattle's in Anaheim again. Atlanta and San Diego tonight. Toronto and Arizona. We'll do all those later on.
Sweet. And then a little more college football today. So we've already talked to Matt Burchell. Now we're going to tap into some Sermonella.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Will they both make it? Yes. But it has more to do with the fact of the three teams that are not really good at all in Dallas, Washington, and the Sparks, and an Atlanta Dream team without Ryan Howard that's spiraling out of control. If they can get those two teams, Indiana and Chicago, that's going to be a major boom for ratings.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
DeMar DeRozan now joins that team in Sacramento with the Kings. De'Aaron Fox, Domantas Sabonis, Devin Carter, who they drafted early, Keegan Murray as well. A Kings team, DRS, that has been a playoff contender.
Is it going to equate to a championship? Probably not. That's not the goal. Make your team better every offseason. The Kings definitely got better with that move here, Ben.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
We love to talk college football. You already saw us interview Matt Murschel. How about our main man, Rich Sermonello, now on a Friday?
Hey, Scott, this year is the advent of the expanded college football playoff. We go from 4 teams to 12, means a lot of different things. Probably going to see a lot of SEC and Big Ten teams, but we're also going to see a team from the group of 5. Automatically, the top group of 5 team, top group of 5 champ will be in the playoffs. So who's got the best shot? Well, let's start with the favorites. I've got 3 teams that are considered, according to FanDuel, as the favorites: Liberty plus 450, Boise State plus 500, and Memphis out of the American at plus 600. Of those 3 teams, my favorite is Boise State. Love the fact that Spencer Danielson has now been installed as the permanent head coach. They have one of the best running backs in the country, Alvin Kamara 2.0. With Ashton Jonty, and the pickup of Malachi Nelson from USC is just epic for Boise State. In 2023, this kid was considered, depending upon who you listen to, either the top or the second best high school quarterback in the country. He'll now be playing on the blue turf, so I like Boise State out of the Mountain West. But I think what a lot of people want to talk about is where's the value, which group of 5 team could possibly make the playoff. I'm going to rip off 3 teams to consider, starting in the Sun Belt with Appalachian State, usually a giant killer. I think they will be again this year. Sean Clark enters his 5th season leading the Mountaineers. I think this is his best team, Scott. He's got a great quarterback in Joey Aguiar. Little surprised he stayed in the Sun Belt, had offers from Power 4 teams, decided to remain with the Mountaineers. 33 touchdown passes last year, just 10 picks, solid offensively, solid defensively. They get what could be a playoff elimination game against Liberty in Boone, home game for App State at the end of September. And watch that week 2 game at Clemson. Again, App State has done this before. Watch them put a scare into Clemson in week 2. So App State, number 2. I've talked a lot about South Florida out of the American. Love what Alex Golish has done. First-year head coach, really revived the Bulls last year. Byron Brown now back for his 2nd season as a starting quarterback. And then I'll head to the MAC. Miami of Ohio, Scott. This is like the Max version of Iowa, always salty on defense, always well coached under Chuck Martin. Offense is the issue, but now that offense gets back Brett Gabbert, oft injured throughout his career, now healthy, entering his final season, looking to make a salary run to the NFL. Wouldn't be surprised if Miami pulls 2 upsets in September. They're not going to beat Notre Dame, but Cincinnati in a rivalry game and Northwestern in the opener. Watch Miami of Ohio to be a back-to-back champ out of the MAC.
Look at your boy, Rich Sermonello, giving Miami of Ohio some juice, Carver High.
Yeah, I think it's going to be very interesting, as Rich was just saying. There's one of those teams is going to be in the college football playoff. One of those teams out of those conferences, Mountain West, Sun Belt, American, etc. I know it's kind of on the chalkier side, but I like Memphis this year. I know he said he liked Boise State off of that board. They got Hennigan coming back. The quarterback he's another guy like Rising. He's on like his 9th year of college football. So he's a veteran and he's been there forever.
A lot.
They score a ton. I think Memphis could be a team to look for once we get into that this year. I had one other college football thing for you today. And, of course, next week, SEC Media Week, Monday through Thursday, 5 different sets of teams and coaches, 4 or 5 every single day. First time we're going to hear from some of these guys in a while, so that will be a lot of fun. Heisman odds shifted this week. In the middle of July, kind of odd, Dylan Gabriel, now with the Oregon Ducks, is the new favorite at plus 750. Carson Beck and Quinn Ewers were ahead of him. He's jumped both of them. It's not by much. I mean, they're all in around the same number, Scotty, 750 to 10 to 1. Jalen Milroe, Will Howard there as well. But Dylan Gabriel, another guy on his 7th or 8th year of college football.
Yeah, I'll believe it when I see it, that he's going to win the Heisman. I still think this kid, Ewers, is a freak. He's a badass. They're really good. They're loaded. They got talent everywhere. He's a great quarterback. That's why Manning's standing on the sideline, because that's how good that guy is. And that kid, Beck, he's huge. He's a problem at Georgia. There's no getting around that either. I think they're both better than Gabriel. We'll see. I know everyone has Oregon in the playoff. They're going to be unstoppable and everything else. We'll see, won't we? I mean, you got to play games.